How many of you have heard of this thing, Test Oracle? Okay. So even though I am at Oracle and this entire thing is about Test Oracle, it's not Oracle. It's just, overloading of the word Oracle. So, shameless intro about myself. My name is Amit Gandhi and I've been working in the QA industry for about 12 plus years now. And I have been able to use Test Oracle at least 5 or 6 times in my career. And I'll explain the whole thing about TO or Test Oracle. It's fine. It will work with this. It's online. Alright, so before we begin with that, what exactly are we looking at here? So what exactly is the problem statement? So let's take an example. So assuming that you are working at AOL, America Online. Now this company has had plenty of customers. And even besides the customer base, the number of products they offer was just too many. Besides being in the internet domain, they also have products like antivirus or MusicNet or just too many of those. And the products had different price points, $21.95 a month, $22 a month or $25 a month. And besides these, you could also have customers calling into the customer support and say, I'm not too happy with this. Then they offer them 1 month free or 2 months free, or they just give them $10 back. So the entire point of this is that there are just too many test data combinations going on over there. There are just 100 plus products. On top of that, you could have too many of those combinations like free month or cashback or any of those. So how do you even approach to test this out if you are working for the billing team? So your responsibility is to ensure that the bill at the end of the month for each and every customer, or even without looking at the customer base, for each and every product offered or the offer offered is accurate. So if you begin with the test data on your own, it would easily exceed hundreds of thousands, if not millions, because of the unique combinations of products and offers. So how would you even begin to create the test data for this? So any ideas about that? What would you do in this situation?
Production.
Alright, but how would you verify the accuracy of data? Now, how would you even verify the amount, right? Because each and every account is unique in production, or even in your test data as such, each and every account would be unique. You would have to cover all the different combinations out there. If you begin with the plan of $21.95 a month, you would have to give it a month free or 6 months free, or it could be an annual plan, or you would have to give it $10 off. Verify all the different combinations against that account only for one product, and then kind of iterate this over multiple products.
You will try to do some kind of equivalence partition here, like we'll try to decide on some categorized classes for for sample data which fits specifically.
Right. So that could be one approach. So sample out the production data, or only look at the main product and offer combinations and just work on those. Now, second instance, Fannie Mae. So Fannie Mae is in the secondary market in the US. So what they do is they take out all the mortgages from all the banks and they bundle them up into securities. Now they do have to report the accounting to SEC every quarter. So there are too many of those standards out there. There are too many of the financial standards, 150 plus, and there are about 30 plus business rules, 50 plus accounting rules. So how do you begin to approach this? Again, kind of similar to AOL, but different industry. Alright, so this is exactly where Test Oracle comes in. Now, Test Oracle is only a concept, or it's only a framework which enables you to use the production data effectively, kind of replicate the application under test, and compare the results against the actual application. So we will speak about each of these. And this entire thing is online, so it's not anything that I have invented or I have come across this, but this thing is so this entire thing is industry-wide known about Test Oracle. And the references are in Wikipedia and also testingeducation.org. So first thing to do is looking at the requirements or looking at any kind of application specifications, come up with an application. Now you could use any kind of tool for this. I am not preaching about a tool over here. It's about the whole the concept of a test oracle. So look at the requirements and look at the application under test. Try to simulate the whole application, at least the main aspects of it, into your own tool. Now, you would be working on this anyway if you are using Excel or if you do any kind of manual testing, right? Now, if you are working at AOL, you would have to have some sample data with you. You would have to simulate the whole thing across a year or across multiple years. Come up with the accounting entries for those, either using Excel or any kind of an intermediate tool. So what I am saying here is that the whole billing application can easily be replicated, or at least the core concepts of it can easily be replicated in your own tool. This would be done anyway by you, either using your own mind or Excel or any other tool. So you could choose your own language or architecture that will assist you the most in that environment. Now, so maybe your company is not too open about using some external tools, so use some internal tools, but replicate the logic of the application under test. And then it's very important to generate the output of this application in a similar format to the actual application under test. So if the actual application is outputting everything into a database, is persisting the whole results into a DB somewhere, maybe you can also persist the results in the same DB or a different test DB, but in a similar format as the application under test. Now, next step is to verify the Oracle, right? So even though you have built the entire thing, it could easily have some bugs. It's not that we are the best developers or the developers are the best developers. So anyone can introduce a bug. So you will need to verify the application, you will need to verify your own test Oracle. And what you would do for that is begin with some sample data. So it's not required to cover all the products, all the offers. Just pick about 5 products or a sample of that, create some test data for that, manually verify that, output everything somewhere into a flat file or a DB or anywhere. Now, give this input to your test Oracle. Now, this test Oracle again is only your own tool, your own application which you developed. So, give it the same input as you would give it to Excel or as you would have verified manually. Compare the results with the output of the Oracle and your Excel files or your own tool, and verify the test Oracle. Now, this step is extremely critical. So you are looking at the Oracle, so you have developed the Oracle, now it's time to verify it. How do you know for sure that whatever code you wrote is accurate enough? So you would verify the results of the Oracle manually against the results coming out of Excel or any other manual testing approach used. Any questions so far? Am I going too fast here?
Just one question here. So, in this diagram, what I can see is there is an application under test, and then there is a test Oracle, which is a sort of a framework.
Correct.
Right. So let's say, for example, if you are testing, probably let's say an e-commerce website, for example, Flipkart.com, which have so many filtering factors based on price, offers, range, and all. So when you see in this diagram that application and under test, and then you do a comparison of results of test Oracle and under test, does it mean using the test Oracle framework, you're not going to test actual application, but rather you are trying to simulate a behavior of Flipkart.com, for example?
So you are in fact developing an actual application, but this thing is only in the test environment. It's only for your own testing purposes. And whatever I'm explaining now is about two portions of it: manual validations and the test Oracle. I will explain about the below step in a bit.
Okay.
So you are only verifying with the data used against the manual validations and with the test Oracle. So you would verify the test Oracle here. It would build some confidence in your test Oracle. You now know for a fact that at least for 10 records or at least for 10 accounts, my test Oracle is fine. Now the next step is to not use any kind of test data at all. Just go to production and then so get a dump of production or use all the 30 million accounts in production, as in the case with America Online, and give it to your test Oracle. So as I mentioned earlier, the output of the test Oracle or the TO is in exact similar thing as the actual application under test. So now you have the results of the test oracle, you have the results from the actual application. Now the next step is to compare them. Now when I say compare them, you would actually go record per record. So identify a unique key for every record and just execute them through any kind of a generic compare. You could use Excel or you could use some ETL tool or again any kind of tool. But the idea is to compare the output of your test oracle with the output of your actual application. So with this, the whole need of test data as such is now eliminated. You are using your actual production data, you are running through all the available accounts or all the possible combinations, at least in production on that day, and you are verifying the results of your test oracle and you are verifying the results of your application under test. So the next step, as I mentioned earlier, is to compare the results of your test oracle and the actual application under test. So I have used ETL tools for this, like Ab Initio or any open source tool like Talent or any such tool, which makes comparisons easier, which makes extracting from a flat file or Excel or a DB for that matter extremely easy. So you would now compare the results of the test oracle and the actual application, and you would produce 4 output files typically. One of them is the matches file where everything was fine. The output of your test oracle matched 100% with the output of your application. And when I say match, I am actually looking at each and every column or each and every attribute available with that record. Yeah.
When you are testing the production data you are telling that you've created a framework which will test the application under test, and your scripts might be testing that. But when is the time to write those scripts?
Now, you would be verifying them manually anyway, right? Now, if there's some kind of a complex logic involved, it would take too much time to verify all of your scenarios. So with this, you are eliminating the need to do any kind of test data generation. You still work on your test cases as such, but you don't have to worry about your test data. You don't have to worry about verifying them manually, because no matter what you do with your test data as such, it's still an inaccurate satisfaction to you that you could only verify about 100 accounts or 200, or if it's a big team, 1000 accounts, but you could not possibly iterate over all the combinations. Now it's not required to build an application with those skills as a developer would. You are only worrying about the actual logic of the application. You will not worry about the failure and recovery scenarios or log files or any of that. So ignore all the fluff around the actual application under test. You are only worried about the actual logic or the actual accuracy of the accounting in this example, which is required. So you are verifying the amounts, or you are verifying the attributes, or you are verifying the GL ledger codes, or whatever it is. But because you understand the requirements enough, you understand that the amount this month is only $21.95, you could easily account for all of that inside your test oracle or inside the framework. So whatever time is required to manually verify, to manually create the data, is now spent in building the test oracle. And the output of this is so compared against that. And the other thing is about the mismatches. Now, if you are comparing the output of your test oracle and against the actual application, it could be a mismatch. Your test oracle could say that the amount is only $21 a month, whereas the actual application says 22. So it's now required for you to analyze those. So it will not help you in analysis, but it might help you in identifying some buckets. Next thing is only unexpected. Now it could happen that because an account had a free month in August, test oracle said this does not require any kind of accounting entry in the month of August. But the actual application still had a bug, and it does have an accounting entry. So it would be in only in expected bucket. Last is the only in actual, and the reverse way around, where it is only in the actual results but missing in expected. So you are now looking at these 4 outputs coming from the comparisons. You are looking at the mismatches, which can be easily ignored because everything is fine between the oracle and that. And you are looking at the mismatches mainly. You are looking at each and every column mismatch or the buckets identified during your mismatches, and you are seeing whether this needs to be investigated. Now, if you have 30 million accounts, it could have 30 million mismatches. But you could easily identify some buckets out there, and you only have maybe 10 different buckets. One of them is the amount mismatch, the other is the month mismatch or the ledger code mismatch or whatever. So pick out some sample accounts from the mismatches, verify them manually, and then open up a bug against the application, or it could be an issue in your test oracle. Fix the oracle. Yeah.
The categorization is something you would need to do manually, right?
Correct. So that's still a manual process. The whole analysis part of this, right? Go ahead.
When you say that the need for basically test data generation can be eliminated by this
Right.
approach.
Right.
So and when you're using production data to do testing on the application under test. So do you mean to say that let's say something is already in production, and for example an American online billing system, and there are some enhancement or upgrades, and then you want to test. So rather than basically you designing the test data or creating a test data, you use basically some Excel sheets to basically define samples, and then you can directly use the production data to basically verify your results in test oracle and the actual application under test. So
good question around that. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
so does it mean this is something which works more for which are the application already go live stable, and it's probably difficult to or this approach can be repeated for something where we are building a a complex application from the scratch.
Right. So this might not be applicable to all the existing scenarios, but this thing is mainly for applications which are already live. Or I'll give you another example. So if you are working in the data warehousing team, where they are trying to build an application to get information from source A, source B, from your HR systems or your finance systems or whatever it is. So all those systems are existing in your whole company, but you are building a new application to get information from there, to aggregate the data and then to analyze the data. So wherever information is already available to you, this might be an ideal candidate for you to use. But if you are just building on a new product and you don't have any kind of information or accounts, then it might not be the way to go. So next step. So how is this applicable to you? And it comes back to the question which he asked. So first thing is to look at the application under test. So break the application into small logical units as such. Build an oracle for each of those units, or if it's simple enough to aggregate them into a single unit, build an oracle for the whole unit. Next step is to ensure that you always output the results of your test oracle in a similar format as the application under test. This makes your comparisons with the whole output of the application extremely easy. Next thing is, as I mentioned earlier, now it could be possible for you to use your production data. And it's not required to develop the application or your test oracle for the entire application. So if you think your whole application is too complex enough, I do not have the skills to work on the whole application or build an oracle for the whole application, that's entirely fine. Break the application into a small piece, so which is the most complex piece. Now you would be working on that manually anyway, so you understand that small piece thoroughly. So build a tool or build a framework for that individual piece, and that is your test oracle now. So aligning with the theme of this, how is this faster? So if your production account or if your production DB has millions of records, you can easily iterate over, you can easily look at everything available in production, pass it through your oracle, compare it with the application, look at the output, analyze the output, and you are done with that. You do not have to spend time looking over your accounts or generating your accounts, and if it takes about 10 minutes to verify an account, this thing scales extremely well. You could have millions of records and you could have compared all of them within an hour or within 10 minutes. Smarter. So once you have verified the application, once you have verified your test oracle, it's your own minion, it's your own slave available to you to be used anytime you want to use it. You could have some sample data given to you by the testing team or by the UAT team or even by the client, you could easily cycle it through your Oracle, look at the output and just give it to them. Reliable. So once you have verified the test Oracle again, your application is now robust enough, your application is maybe even better than the application under test, so you can completely depend on the test Oracle here to look at the output, to verify the output and be done with your testing. Any questions again? Yeah.
So I'm just trying to tie it to the agile way of working, for example, right, where the application is being built and deployed to production in very incremental and quick fashions also. So this, I think, ties to the earlier question about we already are stressed on time in terms of doing testing itself, and building this is going to be another major activity of sorts, right? So how does it compare in the agile way to use something like this?
So I have been able to use this in an agile environment also, but I had to spend at least a week or two to build out the framework earlier. But once the framework was in place, once I knew exactly what I was looking at, and agile way is only building an application incrementally. So you are, looking at the user story, you are looking at the acceptance criteria, you are building on that. At the same time, you are also spending some time verifying that. So whatever user story is in scope in that sprint, you could easily automate that, you could easily fit this in the framework, and you could only look at the output of that particular piece. So instead of looking at the entire application holistically, only look at the application by each user story, build an automation for that, integrate this to any kind of a CI tool, and you are done with that. Any other questions?
I would just like to understand, how to basically put this, concept practically to work. So, assume a application address which is, let's say, a telecom, billing product, and one of the most complex piece of code is being the rating engine,
Right.
where you basically configure different kind of prepaid plans or
Correct.
sort of thing.
Correct.
So, I would try to say here is that, probably only the rating engine, or probably it makes sense to, automate rating engine part
Correct.
using, even existing tool like, let's say QTP, and then implement this test Oracle concept in that.
Right.
Is that something what we are trying
So
to?
that's another way to look at this, right? So you could also use your existing tools, or you could use a UI automation tool like QTP, and that could also be extended into this test Oracle framework. But the whole idea or the main takeaway from this is to generate the output of your tool in the similar thing as the application and then compare them. So you are picking out your data from an identical source as the application. You are cycling it through your Oracle. You are generating the output of that and then comparing this with actual application. You could use QTP, you could use an ETL tool or anything. Yeah. So for example, in your case of a telecom company and the rating engine, so this would be an ideal fit for that. So you don't have to configure all the products or all the offers again. So everything which is configured in the production DB or in the test DB. So look at the information around that. Pick out all the products. So pick out all the configuration from there and then build your rating engine. So you are only building your rating engine, but you are in turn comparing the output of your own rating engine with the actual application. Whereas in the manual approach, so you could have used Excel, or you might have some kind of sheets with you which say that if the plan is this and if the account type is this and if the offer is this.
Yeah. So in that case, let's say if I'm building this test Oracle using some kind of language, let's say Java, does it mean since it has to produce exactly the same results which application under test, does it mean I have to code the logic which is probably as similar to as like a rating engine?
So the logic would be similar to that because you are verifying that, but it's built entirely on the requirements. So you are not biased by the application, but you are looking at the requirements. So you are looking at the interface given in the requirements. So the requirement says that if the input is A, then the output is B. So you are building out the whole black box, or you are building out the engine which goes from A to B. So without being biased by the application, you are building the application which is exactly similar as the application, but without having to worry about the extra fluff involved around that.
So actually, I had used this approach, and like we have this golf-based application. We have a sensor, it's a piece of hardware which you connect to a golf stick, and we have an ecosystem around it. We have a web-based app, we have a mobile-based app in different places.
Okay.
We collect data sent via Bluetooth from the sensor. the mobile app then syncs with the server, and then there are a lot of swing JSONs, and then there'll be like 10,000, 50,000 swing JSONs. They kind of tell you the gauge speed, tempo, or velocity, different parameters. And after that, we have to give a composite score.
Right.
So that can be like 10 JSONs, that can be 50,000 JSONs.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
when I had to test this, I had to write from scratch the entire Java code, and that had to take into consideration the entire algorithm.
Right.
And when I
Right.
wrote that, then I found that before writing it itself, at algorithmic level itself, the implementation level, there were a lot of mistakes. So before testing itself, we could have a list of 10 different blockers and criticals which were telling us that this is a problem,
Right.
and these are the optimization issues. Like there were a lot of unnecessary percentage-based calculations. There were a lot of unnecessary additions, which at 10 JSON level would not make a difference. But for 2-3 years of data, this will really make a big deal. And considering this is a hot-selling product, we had to kind of raise it immediately. So by the time the code was complete, we had a lot of issues. During coding itself, we had to, before commits, we had to do a unit level testing. Me and the developer had to sit together and look at each and every particular JSON and see for each and every swing what is the value and all. So it is actually as good as developing the same piece of code. But we should, what I learned was we should not look at it like we are actually writing the same piece of code, because there were a lot of debates on this approach. Like,
Right.
why are we actually writing something which the
Exactly.
developer has already written?
Correct.
But the fact
That's
is,
the number of the question asked by everybody. So
Yeah.
why are you also developing the same application? But
Yeah.
it's not about the application, it's
Yeah.
about the whole
Concept,
thought behind
right.
that. It's to, so ease your testing efforts, ease your
Yeah.
automation efforts.
yeah.
And in some cases, if we are on a tangent, please feel free to break this, right? But in some cases, as you said, right, you may want to re-implement that algorithm in a different form from a testability perspective. In some cases, you may want to plug into the product code APIs to reuse some of those algorithms to make it easier for your testing framework to build up. So depending on the situation, then again, it's a combination that can be used.
And that feedback actually proves out to be very helpful. And you end up saving a lot of time on post-code review. And the thing is, because whenever we all know whenever there is functional-based deliverables, we do that testing. But then there's always an optimization-based review, and we'll have to do retesting. So we actually, when I looked at it, I found out that all that thing was being packaged into just this approach. And this was kind of one complete thing. When we tested this via this approach, the confidence which we got, after that we know that no matter whatever code changes are there, the changes are going to be much more, we are going to be much more confident with our testing.
You understand the entire application or the entire
Yeah.
requirements of the application inside out.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's a very good point. So as soon as you receive the next version of the application, so looking at the results of this, it becomes extremely easy to know. So you could also compare the results of version A against version B and know that, so because version A was entirely fine, it was entirely verified by me, so it should be this way, and then your version B is wrong. So retesting or verifying the application incrementally becomes extremely easy with this approach, once this whole framework is done and it is in place.
One point I have is about, say, business logic changes, right? So in that case, your test Oracle application also needs an update,
Right.
right? So that could be a lot of maintenance effort as well, right? So your basically core business logic or business rule itself is changing, and then it will affect the whole flow. How you handle these kind of situations?
Now, that thing would be required anyway, right?
Yeah.
So without automation
Update test
or
cases
manual
also.
approach.
Yeah.
So you could either go back to your old test case and you could change all the calculations out there, or you could go back to your test oracle, change the business rule or the accounting rule or any kind of logic within that. So it's almost similar, or I think less work with this approach as compared to the manual approach or by doing any other approach. Because you understand the application so well, because you are so intimate with the application, you know exactly where to change, and it really builds your confidence by looking at the output of this here.
I either I didn't got this point. So if the business logic changes and it's a finance based application, so your calculations will differ. So flow may be the same, the calculation outputs will be the same. Say if I have automation suite, I just have to update my test data which says, okay, instead of this, expect this, right? For this input. Wherein here I have to
So
go
you don't
and
update the data out there, right? It's
You
about
get
the
the logic.
intermediate engine which looks at the data and then produces the output. So you would verify the calculation based on the similar test data or it's a modified test data.
yeah, but like expected is you're verifying the output, and if
Correct.
business logic changes, your output changes, right?
Correct.
The test data could be the same, your
Right.
input fields could be the same, but the output is going to be the different in that case if the
Correct.
business logic changes.
Right. So instead of looking at your manual results, instead of changing the logic of your manual results, so you could have automated this using QTP or using a custom tool, Excel, anything. You would need to modify that piece anyway, right? Because your accounting says that if the amount is above 100, then the output of 10 instead of below 100. So there is a need to change the logic anyway. So instead of changing the
Oh, why? So why it will change a lot? So maybe we can have this conversation later.
So maybe I can try and put this in a different perspective. As I understand about test Oracle, it's a different type of test framework itself. Test framework means it is code, whatever tool technology you use to implement it again. And that's why I was leading with the agile question also, right? With the application changing, how you're going to change it. So to build this kind of Oracle, you need to have good development coding practices. In that way, if you do that, the change of any nature, whether it's just input data changing or the business logic changing, you'll be able to change it in a very concise and precise location to adapt quickly to the new set of functionality. Whether it's any testing that you're doing or this kind of data output validations of sort. I'm thinking it's the same correlation or same logic in that sense.
some maintenance, so would be required anyway. So
I think maintenance
can't
comes
escape
even when we don't have automation, even when we have test cases in Excel, when business logic changes, we'll have to update our test cases. That
Yeah.
will be there.
Yeah.
all right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Amit. We have a short tea break till 12 o'clock and then we can reconvene back here to answer a very interesting question. Why did some people delete their regression suite? And please do not forget to give feedback. The feedback URLs and QR codes are up everywhere all around.